This is off. All right, I guess we'll roll. We good? All right, it is 4:31 p.m. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll begin with a quick roll call. Mr. Barton.
Here.
Mr. Freshire. Dr. Miller.
Here.
Mr. Chapman. Dr. Manning.
Here.
All right, we do have a quorum. We'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have no delegations at this time, so that will move us to the public calendar hearing. And Dr. Manning, I'll let you go over any changes or
As
updates.
requested, draft 2 here. It has 3 major changes that we completed for you on this draft. The PL days, the ones that were scheduled on Wednesday, I think there were 3 of them, have moved. Those would be 10/16, 2/12, and 4/16.
We moved them from Friday to Wednesday.
We moved them from Wednesday to Friday. So this draft 2, has Friday PL days. Couple reasons for that. It would allow us to not extend our preschool out as far. Easier for the parents maybe to find coverage on weekends. It aligns with Calhoun Gilmer Career Center. That's 3 extra days that Calhoun Gilmer Career Center calendar would align. And that way one side or the other wouldn't have to maintain the students at their school. And that affects them in the fact that they only have half their students. So, of course, educationally, with only half your students, you can only do so much at a time. And you have to reteach the next time you get all your students. So, other than that, nothing else has changed on it. We've got OS Day there on 11/2 before the election day, and then an OS Day on 12/15. Or no, excuse me, 12. That says 2. I should have my glasses. 2/15, and that would provide the kids a long weekend there. And then we've got an OS Day on 3/26. That's going in. I believe that's Good Friday, going into the Easter spring break holiday there. And then we have 3 at the end, lumped together, 6/3, 6/4, 6/7. And all of those days, 5/28, 5/31 is the holiday. That's Memorial Day. Now, if you look at the bottom, you needed a graduation date. That would actually be 5/23 next year, the Sunday before. So the kids' last day, I believe, would be 5/21. The seniors, 5/23. So what I'm saying is, what we have this year is that graduation is affecting Memorial Day weekend. It won't do that next year. So, which is a positive, because a lot of people like to go and do things there on the Memorial Day weekend. Is there any questions? Still got 2 weeks off at Christmas this next year coming up, which is kind of lucky. It kind of gives them a little Christmas break.
Any questions? Any?
But
Motion to recess.
Yep.
that's what I figured we'd do until everybody showed up.
Okay.
Okay,
Till 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make a motion.
I mean, till 5 o'clock, sorry.
Yeah, make a motion to recess to 5.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded to recess until 5 p.m. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Make a motion to arise from recess.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to arise from our recess. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. So we'll begin under reports and start with the science lab updates. And Dr. Manning, you can go ahead.
All right, let me get to that portion here. So just to give you, as part of this process, we've met with Dr. David Odell at Glenville State, in the science department. We've reviewed potential laboratory equipment, practices for science instruction. We've met with science teachers a couple different times. They're still working on gathering their materials. But we've kind of isolated to like where our major focus is, because our high school's outfitted pretty decent, but they need equipment. The physics and chemistry lab, Mr. Hill felt like his lab had most everything in it that we needed. It's just we need to buy stuff for his labs and things like that. So we've kind of focused on getting a functional science lab set up for middle school. And we've identified that as kind of like the building and facility need. So we've done some walkthroughs of that. Today, I submitted a major need improvement project. So if we would happen to get that, it would run all new hot water and facilities for the school, and going specifically to that science room that's in M204. It is a larger size classroom. When we went and did the walkthrough of the old science lab, it just seemed like it was tiny. I don't know. We had science in there, but it was tiny. So we resubmitted what we call the water boiler project, and we incorporated it. And I think it could help us with the SBA to tie it directly towards curriculum. So we should know within the next couple months whether we get that. If not, we plan on running water to that facility from the existing. We're going to have to redo that boiler one day, so we thought we might as well include it in that project. And if it gets funded, it's going to fund us running water and plumbing into that classroom. So that's one thing that it actually got submitted today to the SBA. And of course, those needs projects, you go down and ask the SBA and you show them pictures of the old water facilities and things like that, and your plan on what you're going to do with running the new water and plumbing in for the science facility. But that would give us all the necessary plumbing for the facilities upgrade, kind of based around what the middle school would need. The rest of the plan would be purchasing equipment this spring. We would probably need, and this would be funded ourselves, but just to run that water facility, I think our share was $300,000, right? It's a $1.1 million project. About $50K just to get the water into the actual science room. So we're hopeful that we get the project, and if not, then we can run the water into the science classroom. But we really need a new boiler, because whether we put new hot water in the science classroom or not, the boiler does not heat the water, does not do what it needs to do. So on top of that, in order to create a kind of functional middle school lab, we would be working with the science team, purchasing necessary equipment, because there's a big difference between 7th grade science and chemistry and what they teach. And so we'd be purchasing equipment during the spring, trying to get it ready for when they get finished with waxing to go in and put in new equipment that we need, coordinating with the maintenance department over the summer for installation of any of those types of things that we need. And then hopefully beginning next school year with a fully functional, updated science labs, both in the 3 science teachers that we have at the high school and the middle school, hopefully with a functional science lab with a lab table at the front for demonstrating labs and for students and things like that. Also putting this on the agenda for Mrs. West to, further develop a science-based instructional program designed to engage students in hands-on learning and inspire interest in the science-related careers. So one of the reasons why we did this is so we can have more interest in science and more kids interested in going into science-based curriculum. That way we can fill gaps in nursing programs and physician programs and other science-related fields, maybe a geologist or something like that. So all of these things are kind of being put together with the hopes that by midsummer, we're going to have labs put together, facilities ran, and that's all good and hope unless we get this major needs project. And then we would be redoing the water. It would be delayed is what I'm saying, because they would be redoing the water in the entire school at that time. So I'm guessing that project would get done pretty quickly because they'd bring people in over the summer to do it. But we'll just keep meeting and talking about the teachers know. I've had a conversation, it's been a couple weeks ago, with the teachers. They're trying to get wish lists of all of the materials that they need for their laboratories to do kind of their dream activities to make the kids interested. And in my opinion, I think we probably should keep the middle school science in M204 because it's a bigger room. You have more space to get lab tables, to get your main lab space set up. Right now, Ronnie Facemeyer's room is in the bottom where we used to have science. And I walked into that room and I swear that room used to look giant to me. And you know how it is when you go back in, but it just looks really tiny. So we'll be able to have more space for storage and to keep things along the walls and things in that M204 because it's actually a double classroom. It was a computer lab built, and it's not, we're one-to-one now, so it's no longer a computer lab. So that's just kind of the update. I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything, but that's kind of the update where we're at. We're trying to get water facilities. We're trying to get SBA approval to get those paid for because it would save us a lot of money, which would then continue on buying equipment and things like that.
Be nice if those high school science teachers could get the list done now, because soon we'll be into end of year testing and all that, and they'll be busy with that. And then if we don't have a list before summer, then we can't get stuff installed. And
I will follow back up at the next leadership team meeting and make sure that Mr. Fox puts that on his agenda to get their stuff that they need. And some of it's consumables. But then, like I was talking with Travis Fisher, and some of them might be microscopes and things that we need to actually physically purchase.
Yeah, I don't know if they need hoods or, I just don't know what they have.
They didn't seem like they needed that. I checked out the hoods and the chemistry. I think that like Mr. Hill was pretty happy with what he could do. His was more like equipment based, like the labs that he already does. He wants to kind of make them. He's doing it with
microscopes. Would be nice.
Microscopes were one that they were like, yeah, we could definitely use that. And not only use it, but like Dr. Odell said, they have somebody come service their microscopes.
Yeah.
They want an ongoing person to service them because, you get little Tony up there and he's messing with a microscope and uncalibrates it. Well, it's uncalibrated for the next 10 generation of kids. They can't see anything through it. So they want to set those types of things up.
I tell you, nursing is such a big deal right now, getting kids interested in that. When Mom was in the hospital, every nurse she had was a travel nurse, and that was at Clarksburg. Some of them were from as far away as Kentucky. So we definitely need local nurses.
So that's kind of the game plan to get everybody up to date where we're at with that project. And it would be a real blessing if we get SBA funding. We still plan to do that with the science room. If we don't, we're just going to have our maintenance guys. We're going to have to run the facilities ourselves. But if we get the new hot water system we would take advantage of getting the best put in there that we possibly could for the science room. That's all I've got.
Anything else on the science labs? Hearing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda and we'll start with the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 23rd, 2026.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the regular meeting minutes of March 23rd, 2026. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, we're to bills for payment. Ginger.
Okay, so we are requesting that you also give us permission to pay utility bills between now and the 21st. Because this is just a little bit early in the month. Normally this first meeting is on the 9th or 10th, and we have a few that we know should be here, and we don't want to pay late fees on that. It's a pretty normal bill series. The only thing I wanted to call your attention to, which you probably saw, was a very large payment on here. We have this once a year, $83,928 and $31,182. That is the loan payment for the original energy service agreement that was done back in 22. So we will pay that yearly.
For 15 years.
Make a motion.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Yeah, go
What,
ahead.
what is that exactly? What all does that service? What all do we get from that? Is that the light bulbs when we did all the light
That's when you
bulbs?
did the light bulbs and
So we, okay. I'm just curious.
Make a motion to approve the bills for payment and permission to pay bills through the 21st.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to pay the bills that were presented and to pay any utility bills through the 21st. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, we have the cash report for February. Ginger.
Okay, so this is our normal report for February, and that is accurate, even though this is April. I had a little accident there in March, and I'm a little behind, but hopefully March's won't be too far behind. So almost 4.4 million actual cash on hand right now.
All right.
Okay, questions good?
Nope.
All right, we'll move on. That'll put us to new business approval of E-rate contracts. Dr. Benny.
this is a part of our regular E-rate submission. This is Frontier Verizon Company. This is the contract that we have that is presented before you tonight. And you can see the first one's for Frontier Service Agreement. The second one is for Shentel. And those contracts, of course, one is for Stadium Drive. That's where the Shentel's at. And the other Frontier is that, I believe that runs our schools. The Shentel, I believe, runs. No, it's,
I only see the front. Oh,
What's
there's
the main difference between the two of them? Frontier service is terrible because people have Frontier phone and don't work 9/10 of the time.
It's about
Yeah,
900
the Shen-
megabytes per second, looks like.
yeah, the Shentel runs, it runs here,
Van Horn Drive, yeah. I see
Van
that.
Horn Drive. It's availability in the area, I believe. I'm
And
pretty
it's
sure
a-
about
it's a
that.
bid process. We don't.
Yeah, they bid
it's a
these out.
complete bid process.
Yeah.
Did they take CityNet into that since they're moving in, or were we too soon on that?
They
or-
bid out.
CityNet did CityNet
No,
participate?
they didn't see, I didn't see CityNet on the bid.
When does this take effect?
Scheduled date July 1 of
26th.
26, and it lasts the service term of 36 months.
Man. I'm just saying we have a new provider
And you
that's
can
just
see-
getting set up. I mean, like they're literally hooking up houses this month. And
Frontier, you can
We
see
switched at
300
our
Pine
office.
Street.
yeah, first year's $25 a month.
But it wasn't
Yeah,
a huge cost savings.
yeah. The first year is
It wasn't for a business,
really.
not for.
I would
us.
have to go back and look, and I can get you these details. You have to bid this out no longer than 3 years. You can't bid it out. I'm not so for sure you can't bid it out every year.
I'm not sure about that.
I'd have to go back and check that. E-rate has a separate, it stands for Ethernet Local Area Network, and it's a schedule, but I could check that to see. This was placed out for bid, and I honestly, I don't know. I'll have to go back and look at the bids that, I can't remember if they could actually bid, because it's not in every area just yet, CityNet.
Did Tracy?
Judy's the one that ran this bid.
And we have consultants that work on it with us.
Mhm.
Most districts do, just because it's so complicated. 'Cause you're
Well, yeah, you gotta look at
doing-
bandwidth and everything else when you come to like picking internets and I don't know all the
And
lingo,
certain
but
things are reimbursable and.
yeah, how much data and all, there's a lot that goes into that.
S-
That's why
yeah.
I was asking, because CityNet's supposed to be the next up and best coming thing, and that's the only reason I asked.
So 300, this service address is 300 Pine Street, 454 Van Horn Drive, and 99 Fairground Road. I believe that this is the actual Frontier is the one that we actually have for our internet service. The Shintel, I believe, is down in the Brooklyn
It
field.
says Ford Stadium Drive.
That was our only.
That was the only option there that we could do that.
It says
Gilmer
Gilmer County Schools Fieldhouse is the business name.
Really? What's the
No.
monthly?
$80 a month at the field house.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
$100 or 100 megabytes versus 1,000 at the Frontier. I don't know how you actually get that. Different story, but
Well, we only got one TV down there for them to watch film on, so it does power it.
Well, Dustin speaks the
Yeah,
language down
like I
there.
said, the only thing that concerns me is the other one.
Cody, you should.
Yeah.
It can be,
Yeah.
well, it's 10 times what it is. But if you have Frontier and it's not working, it don't matter
Yeah.
what it is.
What's the lag? When you look at lag, I know that's a
Latency,
big latency. Yeah.
And how much you're out.
Yeah.
Dr. Miller, you have Frontier, how much are you out?
I don't know
Actually, we
anymore.
just switched to CityNet.
That's why I brought up CityNet. I'm just
Frontier
saying
was
because-
poor, but now cost-wise, there was not much savings between
Right.
CityNet versus Frontier.
Well, I wasn't thinking of savings. I'm just thinking of
Service.
service
Yeah,
and
service.
usability.
Oh, well, guess we'll revisit in 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm not so
I'm
for sure that
asking-
we can't revisit every year. I have to go back and check on that to see if you can do the E-rate. Because I'm not,
Do you
You
want
kinda
us to
stuck
table
there.
it?
Table it
Well, you're
for
right.
next
I don't
meeting?
think that we can table it.
You've already done the bid process.
I think there's deadlines on the E-rate process. Yeah.
This is not really, I mean, it's our bid, but it's not something we manage.
We do not
The
manage it.
consultants manage it because counties,
Oh,
you have to have a full-time dedicated person if that's all they do is E-rate, or you have to have a consultant. It's just like some of the other things.
Do we already have a motion in a second?
There's no motion or second on the floor
All
yet.
right, I make a motion to approve the E-rate bids then.
Second.
All right. It's been properly moved and seconded to approve the E-rate contract bids as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right.
How you gonna do?
Now we'll move on to approval of the 2026-2027 school calendar.
So draft 2 is there. It's got the 3 days that we moved from Wednesday to Friday. That's the only change. The only other thing that I mentioned during the hearing was that the graduation date would be 5/23, which does not fall on Memorial Day weekend, which is a positive. I know a lot of people like to keep that Memorial Day. It's still on Sunday, but it's not, at least it's not falling on Memorial Day. 2 weeks at Christmas. if winter goes well and we get the OS day, we would have an OS day there before Easter break and Good Friday. Everything else is similar to draft one, except 10-16, 2-12, and 4-16, which we move those to Fridays.
With graduation, did we do that this year as well? Is it on a Sunday?
It's on a Sunday.
So if we hate that, can we change it in this calendar in the future?
Yeah, if you really wanted to move that at some point in time, you could ask, we could have that discussion and we could
I mean, it's a pilot program, so.
we could change. Well, that's a change that we would be able to make on here even up until next year.
Make a motion to approve the 26-27 school calendar.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the 2026-2027 school calendar as presented. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, now we're on to discussion or possible action of laptop repair and damage. Dr. Minnie.
So as asked to put this on the agenda, and I did some research. We currently bill our students that have damage to their laptop on their second time through. So they would have to like break a screen. We fix that one for free, and they would break their screen again. Lots of beyond screen, a lot of lost chargers. That's like one of the main ones. Like, you know how easy it is to lose a charger. We have a lot of lost chargers. We give them a temporary charger.
We still charge $150 for a lost charger.
No, 30. 30 is what the charger fee is. And I believe 30 is what, if they have keyboard damage, like a lot of kids will pop their keys off. They charge $30 for a keyboard, $30 for the charger, $150 for the broke laptop screen. A screen replacement's $150. So I looked at the rates. I went back to 2019, and there's been a slight decrease. We started billing in 2023, and there's around 100 incidents a year. So it was quite a few incidents. And they decided to, hey, have a conversation. Hey, do you think we could bill and have the number of broken student laptops go down? The cost of the laptop's it's almost $600 a piece, and they were getting up to 100 a year in our total school population where we were replacing things.
And so are they new every year?
A certain group of them are. They kind of go on a cycle. So they would buy this cohort new ones, and then they would keep those 5 years, and that cohort the new one.
So we keep them 5 years. at a
About
time.
5 years, I believe.
Okay.
So I looked at the number. I talked to the tech team. It doesn't matter to them whether they bill or not, because it's actually more work for them to bill. They were just trying to alleviate some of the budgetary concerns by billing. But I looked at the numbers, and honestly, after we build, the numbers really don't go down that much. They really don't. I think it went from maybe 116 one year to 97, 16 different incidents that were billed for. Around 8 to 10 kids are getting billed per year with screen breakages. That's the number of kids that have 2 screens broken. Currently, the parents and guardians sign a technology agreement at the beginning of the year, and under that, they say that they'll replace any damage or repair. And that's kind of what they go by, knowing that some of these computers get old and they might break a couple times. I think they got a process where they've just laid out, okay, if it breaks after the second time it breaks, they're going to bill. Because we do have kids that actually mean to break the computers.
Well, I'm sure we do.
So I've kind of come up with a little way here that I think that we can live in the best of both worlds. Out of those kids that get the bill, a very small number of them pay.
Well, that's what I figured.
And when I
that's my
say a very
concern.
small number, I think it was 3 last year actually paid. So I asked them, like, what do you do? Well, some of the parents have asked them to do community service, to work off breakages. Some of the kids actually broke it on purpose, like purposely punched their screen.
But then isn't that a behavior issue? I
That's-
mean, that's,
That's what I'm getting at. So, given the circumstances, my recommendation for the setup of this, reviewing the numbers and realizing they haven't dropped, reviewing how many kids actually pay, I recommend redoing the administrative guidance related to damage and loss of technology devices, specifically making the recommendation to you all that you make a motion that the board retain and reinforce the authority of the school principal to determine when restitution is appropriate or not, or intentional technology damage, included loss of chargers or accessories. And under that recommendation, repair and billing would no longer be managed by the technology department. The school principal would review the incident and determine whether restitution was warranted, which is restitution is one of those areas in the discipline code that we can require. And then restitution decisions would be documented in WEVA's discipline system. And in the cases of continued or intentional technology abuse, the principal would have the authority to revoke the privileges and establish that in the WEVA's disciplinary procedures. That way, if we have a kid that literally, and we've had a kid that has demolished 5 or 6 computers, we can say, you're paying for this, or we can say, you're no longer using this technology because you keep breaking. Or some kid that constantly keeps popping the keys off of the keyboards. But, let the principal bring the student down and say, okay, you've had two screens broke. What happened? Well, first time, my dad stepped on it. And the second time, my backpack fell off the closet. This actually happened this week. My son pulled a blanket off the top of the closet and the backpack fell down, and I thought, that's it. I owe $150 because I've already had one broken screen. Luckily, it did not break the screen as I was screaming from my chair to stop, pulling stuff down, and it fell anyways. But those types of situations would be taken care of. The principal say, okay, take better care of your computer or device. Now, when the principal brings up a video of a classroom and the kid punches another student's computer screen or something like that, or they take it and throw it across the room or whatever, that's a whole different ballgame. They could make them pay the same as what we do. If a kid cuts the back of a bus seat out, we send the bill to the parent because they were nefarious in cutting the back of the bus seat out, and they pay for the bus seat replacement.
well, and, I would totally agree with that. But my point was that, of this that happens, how many people actually pay it? And I think you
Very
said
few.
3. So to me, the restitution is really not even a discussion point, because probably if the kid is breaking the laptop on purpose, probably the parents are not going to pay restitution for the laptop.
They probably
anyway.
won't. But you can, just like the bus seat, like if you got a parent that actually wouldn't pay for the bus seat, you can take them to magistrate court. If you had a parent that, and you can assign restitution, plus you can assign discipline that way. So the kid would have discipline for breaking that. So that would be my suggestion, is to probably make a motion that provides the authority to the school principal to determine when restitution and discipline takes place for repeated and intentional technology damage and loss.
So moved?
Yeah, that's fine.
Second? All right, so then probably moved and seconded to accept the superintendent's recommendation under the damaged technology devices. I'll try to repeat all that.
Yeah.
So is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion?
No, I think it's good flexibility and good set of eyes on it.
Yeah. I think having the administrator over it too, it'll be watched more
I
and
just
be more enforced.
had a question, and I don't know if you know the answer. So all my kids, I know after COVID, it was drilled into them, you have to take the laptops home every night. Is that still the plan with everything, that the kids are supposed to take the laptops home every night? Because our deal after COVID was they had to take them home every night, because who knows if we'll shut down again.
Yeah, I don't know that that's the case, but I do know that they like for them to take them home so they can have them charged and ready if they have an
Oh, we're
assignment
not
the
going
next
to
day.
do that.
So that's not the plan for the elementary. The elementary do not pack them back and forth. My kids do bring theirs home nightly, and they sometimes remember to put them on the charger,
Yeah.
and sometimes
doesn't
not.
usually happen.
But we do pack them back and forth a lot.
Yeah, and that,
And
that
it
was
does
another
cause
thing.
wear and tear, even though we do buy protective cases and backpacks and all of those types of things. It does create that, but they also have some classroom charging capability in the classrooms now compared to what we had during COVID, that we can work and they got their charger in the room. I would say that there's lots of kids that probably don't take them home every night,
Well, Colton usually drags his back and forth, and
but
that's,
mine
and I
do
think
too.
that contributes to a
It
lot
does.
of wear.
It does wear them out.
I would
But-
think if it wasn't needed to do homework, the safest place would be to leave it at the house. I see them come in the evenings in backpacks when they come to the track, and what we give, protect them.
Yeah,
None
because it's
none
just
of
a
none of us,
neoprene.
none
just
of
that
us would
neoprene
put ours
sleeve.
in it
Yeah.
and bring it out there. If they don't need it,
And I mean,
why
that may
drag
be
it, just like
something
a
we look
textbook, why
at.
drag it back and forth if you don't have a lesson? Like you said, they have chargers in.
They have some charging capabilities. They have them so they don't have a classroom with 25 kids trying to charge all at once. They want them to bring them charged.
Right. The other thing I was thinking, it eliminates potential problems with taking the computer home where the kid didn't do it, but somebody else at the house did do it.
It happens all the time.
I know, but I'm just saying, if I didn't need it, and I know that what's going to happen when I get it home, and Big Brother's going to do something on it, I wouldn't be taking mine home. All I'm saying is,
Well, they really beat that into the kids' heads. I mean, at least my kids, that was there. You bring them home every night, bring them home every night, because of course it was chaos, and that was just the times. And I don't know if that's changed.
Just a personal opinion, I suppose.
I think that they take them to charge them at home that way because they're all fresh charged, and ours usually will last about a day. They can usually work on them throughout their classes. You know, you're not on a computer the whole class, so, or even partial of multiple classes, but you got enough charge there in one day that you can get your whole day worth of work complete.
I'm sensing a new bid for USDA or whatever to have charging stations, charging lockers.
All right, is there any other discussion or amendments on this topic? Nope. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, now we're to discussion or possible action on student planners. Dr. Minnie.
So the creation of a district-wide student planner program, we've talked about this several times, and Mr. Fox and I have talked about this several times, the potential to significantly improve communication. One of the areas that keeps coming back up in the board meeting constant themes, and it was in the gate review, how we get the parents to communicate. And planners would be a way to do that. We've talked for a long time about getting the actual planner for the high school student that has the handbook in it, like we used to have the handbook in the front so the students would know, and that would be communicated to them. Student planners, they've demonstrated, we have them for elementary, we have them for middle school. It increases responsibility and management and clear communication home. My biggest worry is in today's technology-driven environment, is that the way our young parents communicate? So I've come up with a couple different things here, and I've really researched this over the last couple weeks. And I believe we probably should do planners district-wide. We've already got them through. It's only adding 4 more grades, and we probably should do district-wide planners. we should put our handbooks in there and have them printed. It's not going to cost us that much more money. Our teachers can communicate with parents. They can write individual notes. They can have their students write in there during homeroom, their assignments and things they need to do. They can have access to a calendar. They can quickly flip through and things like that. But I also think on top of that, I've been doing a lot of research about how we connect with the modern, I want to say mother, but it could be father too. But I'm thinking about how we talk to mom.
Yeah.
And so my recommendation is going to be multi-step here, a multi-step approach. I'm looking at through our Apogee all-call site. We have that we do all calls. You get a text message through Apogee. A part of Apogee, they can set up a room. And this is kind of what we talked about last meeting with, we don't have live grades anymore. We don't have any of that direct communication. I say we utilize both planners and some type of other technology device to directly correspond to parents. So the rooms, say you talked about Mrs. Ramazan sending email. I'm in Mrs. Ramazan's
And
class.
you should pull her email up because it's a good example of,
And
what she sends out is a good example of the information that we need.
instead of going on there and sending out an email listserv, which takes a lot for every teacher, she's going above and beyond with that.
Mhm.
In Apogee, you can, and even from my phone, just like I send the all calls, I could pull up the app on my phone, bring up and click on my fourth period science class and say, heads up parents, I've got a test on Friday. Study guide will go home on Wednesday. Just want to let you know. And when you hit send, it sends it to just that group of parents.
Now, do they have to go into the Apogee thing to check it, or it like texts them?
That's what I don't know.
Because that's what I was going to say.
So I've got Project Connect on Thursday. Thursday, Project Connect is going to be meeting with those people. But the gist of this is, I think we should do both. I think we should do an old school planner. The kids should have it with them. They should have their assignments written down in it. There's no reason why an eighth grader during homeroom can't write down every day that they've got tests that the parents can check. But then on top of that, an easy way, instead of writing in every single assignment book, there's a test coming up.
Mhm.
You can get right on your cell phone, pull out and click on the Apogee app and click on what class you want to send the update to. And it also does email update to that same group.
Well, so I have two thoughts. One is I talked to multiple elementary school parents, and it does not sound like the elementary school teachers are using the planners religiously like they did when my kids were there. Now, with my kids, parents were expected to sign that planner every night. The teacher initialed it every day. The child would write down when the test was, et cetera, et cetera. So I was in that mindset when Colton went to middle school. And then, of course, he got to sixth grade and they no longer had planners. Well, then we brought him back to middle school, but then none of the teachers used them. And so by that time, my attention span was gone and I don't look at planners
What they
anymore.
use at the elementary is, and this is what the high school doesn't have. They have a program called Class Dojo. And what it does is it updates parents and they get points. They get dojo points. So if your parents go and it's almost like signing off, you get dojo points. And it's kind of like a reward system for being up to date. Because what they ran into is they're sending all this to the parents and nobody's signing it.
So then is there any need to do planners if they're not using them?
For the cost of what we have in the planners, there's no reason not to have the planners because we already are buying planners. They are utilized in some areas. They're really important for kids. Like, for example, if you have a kid that's got an IEP that you got to have behavior notes with every day. they would have a communication tool to do that handwritten, everyday check-in type of thing. But I am really interested in this rooms because it's going to take the legwork off of the teachers.
And that was my second comment, was that as a parent of multiple children, of course, when my girls were in school, I had 3 kids in 3 different grades. I don't want to have to go to 3 different things to figure out what's going on.
Right.
So send me a text, send me an email. I check both of those things every day. Anything else is a hassle.
Right.
So,
And that's the type of mindset that when I've been researching this, is I've been trying to find something, and I've been trying to think about it as a parent too.
yeah,
If Brett Chapman gets a text and says, you know, Callie's got a test in this subject on Friday, I bet he says, hey, did you study for that test?
right.
And that's how, and that can literally come through the phone as a
But I
text
don't want
message
to have
and
to go
email.
into some app and into some room and blah, 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 blah. Just send me a text or an
It's
email.
going to send the text.
Boy,
I
that sounds
have
pretty
read
good.
up enough that it will send the text, and it'll say the room will be named like, you know, Miss Ramazan's second period science. It's going to come up like that. Like it comes up for me when I send the all call like Gilmer County Schools. But I just want to try to reach out to how parents communicate today.
I think text would be great.
Yeah, I
And-
think text would be great. I'd
I
happily
tell you
give them
what
my
gets
cell
me
phone
is
number.
when you
tell
have
me-
that test on Friday and then you don't have that test on Friday, but we're going to make it up Monday and you studied all week, but then you sit at the house all weekend, don't do anything. And by the time Monday rolls
Well,
around, your kids forgot it. It's just
I mean, yeah, it's
like
just-
little reminders like that. Hey, didn't get the
I-
test in. Now
I
move to
rarely have a
Monday.
clue when Colton has any tests now.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be a phone message because everybody gets tired of listening. I
Yeah.
think it's just literally, it's got to pop up on your cell phone. You can swipe it away. You just say, put it down. And the next time you see your kid, you can say, hey, I know this is happening. Rooms, it seemed like to me, is around $4,000 a year, which seems like a lot, but parent communication is important, and we know we've got an issue with. So I think it's going to be good. I want to see its capability of how you can correspond back private relay. Like, can you text them right back? Do they go in? I don't know that.
Well, and then
But
we have a lot of
even just-
grandparents.
Even just being able to send the text message is important because that gives updates. Now I want to see how it goes back and forth because you can send the same thing. Like I can send, when I make an all call, I send it out text message. I send it out voice call. I send it out Facebook. I send it out all these different places. I don't know the capability that Rooms has on all that. I do know it does text message because I've read enough about it. We are going to have that presentation. So for the upcoming year, knowing that there's this whole other world out there, I say I would recommend making a motion to approve the student planners K through 12 because we already have them through the 8th. Approve them. Let's use them. And then also, let's research some of these parent communication devices. Very interested in Aptigee itself because we already know how to use Aptigee. And our folks are trained that way. We already know it sends text messages to everybody because I've used it for multiple years. And see if we can't do kind of a both ways. Having the planner for serious notes and conversations, handwritten things back and forth, keeping track of behavior and a lot of different things. Just having our students write down what they're going to be doing assignment-wise so they know in the back of their mind things are coming up, but then also utilize Aptigee to set up these rooms. It would solve a lot of problems. We can put our coaches on there instead of trying to be on Facebook group. And these things are all secure. And here's another thing. There's a record kept of every conversation. So if you got an employee that's saying things that you can see that, it's not just a way in Facebook world. It's there. You can see the updates. No inappropriate behavior happens and things like that. I'm recommending to go ahead and buy it. Allocate the funds to get those next year for the planners and then look at something that can do all of those things that we want and connect both ways to our younger parents.
So
I
moved.
think you're,
Ah,
I think
second.
that's a good idea because there's
Yeah.
a lot of people my age
Yeah.
raising kids, and quite frankly, I might look at my email once a week if I think about it. But I did look at the other.
Yeah.
And like you said, that way you can cover both groups.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of high school kids that didn't get their work done and parent was complaining. It was real simple. Since I had bus duty out on the steps, Johnny had to come see me before he got on the bus, and I got to put my initials on it.
Mhm.
And if I signed it and said no homework, and he had a test, when parent wanted to know why he was, I said, hey, such and such a date. He didn't have anything down. Get on your kid. CYA a lot. Quite honestly, and I think their idea of doing both covers all squares. I'll make a motion to approve it as,
All right, we had a motion from Mr. Chapman already.
It was Hillary and I seconded it.
Yeah, or either way, we got a motion and a second on the floor, so, all right, that was to approve the recommendation of the superintendent to purchase the K-12 student planners and then request a presentation and a cost proposal on the Apogee rooms, and that technology communication platform. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, we have no old business. That'll move us into personnel.
Okay, recommendation for hire, professional here, Brianna Browning, substitute teacher, Gilmer County Schools, all locations.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been probably moved and seconded to accept the professional portion of the personnel agenda as recommended by the superintendent. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. On to service.
Recommendation for hire, Abigail Shiflett, classroom supervisor, transportation aide, grade 3, Gilmer County Elementary School.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the service portion, the personnel agenda as recommended by the superintendent. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. On to extracurricular.
Extracurricular recommendations, Tanya Stewart, pre-K teacher, extended school year, Gilmer County Elementary School, Leslie Campbell, extended school year teacher, Gilmer County Elementary School, Tanya Talbert, extended school year special education classroom transportation aide, Gilmer County Elementary School, Darlene Smithson, mentor teacher, special education, Gilmer County Elementary School.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded to accept the extracurricular portion of the personnel agenda as recommended by the superintendent. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. On to resignations.
Resignation, Ashley Holbert, substitute classroom transportation aide, effective March 27 of 26.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so it's probably moved and seconded to accept the resignations portion as presented by the superintendent. Is there any further discussion or amendments to that main motion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Motion carries. That'll conclude personnel. Okay. All right. We have nothing under continuous improvements. That'll lead us to the superintendent's update.
Just a few updates here. One of the projects, I've talked with Mr. Frazier about getting the CEFP, we're trying to get organized so we can start a list like we did before. We submitted today the SBA project, so we're getting that kind of ramped up. But one of the things that I wanted to bring your attention is constantly coming back from different people is padding in the gym. We've tossed around this idea of padding the sides and the portion of the I-beams that were down there that our kids run into and things like that. And I just want to let you know, I'm coming up with a proposal to submit to you guys that would maybe have what that would cost and where you guys can look at it. And if it's too much, maybe we got to put it in the budget for next year. I really don't know what the new costs of those are. It's been 3 or 4 or 5 years or something, and I think they were about 20,000 when we last
Did you say elementary or high school?
high school,
school.
the high school. But we've had some injury on those, and it's kind of a safety concern. So just wanted to give you an update on that. I did talk with Mr. Fox last week, and he is putting clubs and organizations, student leadership, on the leadership agenda as a running topic to try to get those set up for next year, specifically focusing on middle school and working on getting a plan to bring before you about clubs and organizations. So we've got that leadership team be meeting this week and starting in on that process, kind of going to be a running topic of how it works there and what times and so on and so forth and what will be offered. So he's negotiating on what everybody's skill is and what everybody wants to try to get involved with. So wanted to give you that update. The SAT, I believe, is next week. It's right here. We've done everything we can, I think, to prepare. We have put every single junior through the SAT boot camp. We are still yet throughout last week and the week before and this week, we are getting groups together in homerooms to try to prep out as many kids as we can. These are kids that want to do well, and we're trying to prep as many kids as we can, but I wanted to let you know that's coming up. So we're crossing our fingers on that standardized test. That's for our 11th graders. The next board meeting will be conducted here April 16th at 5 p.m., and that's to go over our 26-27 personnel plan. I don't have any hearings scheduled so far. We're just a few days away, but I don't know that we'll get any hearings this year. It's not that much of a plan to do, so I don't know if we'll get any, but I'll let you know if we do. The next meetings after that is Calhoun-Gilmer Career Center linkage meeting. That's April 21st. That's at Calhoun-Gilmer Career Center, and that's the day that we lay the levy. We got to open the meeting back up and lay the levy and do all of those things. Today, we got message back. Today, we've met our timelines with the levy, but we've got our Class 2 legal advertisement coming out 20 days before. It's a little more than 20 days before, but we're on schedule for our excess levy Class 2 legal advertisement. That'll run the next 2 weeks in the newspaper. So you'll see our official ballot in the newspaper for our levy. It's coming out. Other little thing that we've got going on right now. So we've got our personnel plan and the levy and all of that. It's added for kind of a hectic spring, but we're on track. We met today. We've got our final push. We're really focusing on our bubble students. We've got our final push, our final 20 days before our general summit of assessment. So it's coming up quick.
Question on the boot camp. I know they focus mainly on English language arts. Can we ask them if they'll send it's like 3 hours to an hour and a half, we'll say. Can we ask if they can send a math person, so the second half they'll spend?
The guy's name, I believe his name's Dan Johnson. I know that, but he's from like Georgia. I'll call him and ask to see what they've got and see. Now that we've been through the boot camp a couple times, though, I really think we probably need to meet with her. Like, I think Mrs. Jones can do the boot camp. I think we can start the boot camp. We can make this a series of things that they do because she was really familiar with it. And then on top of that, let's see if we can get a reading and a math expert in there to help them. The boot camp is a one-day event. It does increase the test scores. I'm a believer in that because it increased last year's test scores. I think it'll help this year's test scores compared to what they were and what they'll be. But boy, wouldn't it be nice if we were training our kids like this for months out in advance?
Yeah.
Yes, all the time.
And
Other schools do.
and that's what we're going to try to do.
Yeah.
And the more that they've set through, see, they've been to those teachers have set through a couple of the boot camps now. They can almost do the boot camp because they've watched them interact a couple of times, and hopefully they'll be able to include that throughout the year and keep them kind of tuned up throughout the year.
And I think a couple of the people from the Career Center staff come up and
They did.
So that's
Mhm.
good because when they go back,
They'll know it.
Yeah.
And they can be working on that
Yeah.
stuff throughout the year with the Career Center kids, which will
Yeah.
help too. So I think it's going to be good. I hope that we had really astronomical scores with that group last year. That's not sustainable every year, but our scores, our pre-test looked really good.
Good.
And we've done what we can with the boot camp, and we've went beyond. We've spent the last 2 or 3 weeks meeting with groups of kids during homeroom. And the goal is to keep our scores up as high as they can. You know, every testing group's a little bit different. You're going to have some really high ones, and you're going to have some ones that aren't as high that you've got to do a little extra work. Well, we're doing a little extra work this year, but we're hopeful that this testing group is going to score right up there with the other group that we had last year.
Anything else in superintendent's update? Okay, we'll move to board member comments, start with Mr. Barton.
just basically, like I said, we got about 6, 7 weeks of school left. And we've got a lot of things to get done between now and then, and everybody's done a good job so far. Just keep up the good work and keep the foot to the pedal.
Mr. Freshour.
Yes.
Dr. Miller.
I hope everybody had a restful Easter break and is ready to hit these SAT and summative assessments hard and finish up the year in a flourish.
I don't have anything at this time, so that'll have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been properly moved and second. We adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Here, Kurt.
Oh.